Shalom. Brother Naquam, Watchmen for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Kumalak Bashai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Hamashiach Kumalak Bashai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing the husbands, being submissive and diligent. Those who may not be married are those who tend upon the Lord without distraction. Shalom to the ancient men, the children, everybody tuning in live. Brother Azariah, Shalom, King Quad Israel 23, Richard Perez, D-Vash Branch, Yolanda Caesar, Princess Isabella, Louis G.B., Yashab Rael, Earl Green, Yvette McKellar, Nigel Blends, Yerem Tapuak, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in on another Monday Night Fire. The end of the world, current events, World War III, and more. Right? The end of the world, current events, World War III, and more. So there's a lot going on in the earth. We're going to see how much we can cover through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Mashiach Malaki Bashar. We may not be able to cover everything, but we're going to go through as much as we can. You got this interview with this so-called rabbi and Candace Owens, right? You got World War III going on. You have riots in Cuba. You have riots in Haiti. You have famine of the word, breaking news and information. You got planes and buildings falling apart, right? You have a lot going on in the earth, man. You have Russia, you have China saying that they're going to get involved in World War III. So if you're not watching, like we always say, or like Yahweh Shema Bashai says, more importantly and vehemently than us, if you're not watching, you're going to be caught out there, man. And guess what? You're going to have to deal with it, right? Because the Lord is putting this thing right in front of you, man. This thing is heating up. And this thing is getting big, man. So you definitely want to, you can't blink, man. If you blink, you're going to miss out on some prophecies, man. Right? Let's go to Luke chapter 21, right? And verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. So brothers have to always stay, like we bring out, keep your head on the swivel, right? Stay vigilant, stay alert, right? Keep watching these prophecies, man. Hit that refresh button. Make sure you watching the alternative media, the whistleblowers, right? We got the WFI X page or Twitter page, what they call X now, going into these prophecies, right? Going into current events, trying to keep the people up to date to what Yahweh Shah is doing on the earth, man. So you always have to take heed to yourself, because if you don't, you get too deep caught up in this world, man, worried about bills and jobs and houses and mortgage and rent, and you'll let the cares of this world override your cares for getting out of here. Again, we're always looking for this place to go down, man. There's not 1 minute where we're not thinking about Babylon the Great and this world being destroyed. And you have to have a mentality when you're always watching and you're taking heed to yourself. You have to check your spirit, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting. Surfeiting is excess time spent doing folly, excess time engaged in extracurricular hobbies, excess time at work, spending more time than usual. You're watching TV more than usual, right? You're damn listening to worldly music more than usual, right? You're surfeiting. You're getting yourselves over to the wine of Babylon the Great, and drunkenness, right, which is spiritual, and cares of this life. So don't get too caught up in the cares of this life, man. This world is about to be over. And so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And all throughout Yahweh Shah's ministry, each gospel Yahweh Shah is telling you to watch. right? Watch and pray. Watch and pray. It's in Matthew, it's in Mark, it's in Luke, right? It's all throughout the scriptures, man. And pray always, not that you could win $1 million, man. Not that you could win a Powerball. Don't pray that you could win a lottery. Pray that you're accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Because things are going to get bad out here, man. Right? Things are going to get bad, and they're going to get bad quick. That's why in Matthew 24, before I get this, right? In Matthew the 24th chapter, what do Yahweh shall say? Right? Let's go to Matthew 24 and 44. All right, Matthew 24 and 44. Therefore, be ye also ready, for such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So when you least expect it, it's going to go down. A nuclear bomb might drop, man. And what were you doing when that bomb dropped? You was caught, proverbially speaking, with your pants down, man. You was caught naked. You was caught out there. Maybe you was actually drunk, man. Right? Maybe you got caught surfetting in TV, surfetting in worldly behavior. Maybe that was that time, the time that the bombs dropped and World War III kicked off. You was hanging around them worldly people that you have no business hanging around, man. And now you're trying to hurry up and get back, right, man? Maybe you went out, you didn't have your fringes on, or you was breaking the Shabbat, and you say, okay, well, next time I'll keep the commandments. Next week, I'm gonna start really being on fire. Okay, I got one more week of being wicked, and then I'm gonna finally be righteous. I've heard brothers say, you have one more wicked day, man. Okay, I got one more wicked day. I'm gonna smoke everything I can smoke, pop everything I can pop, and then feel everything I can feel in my lust. But after that, I'm gonna finally repent. I'm gonna get into that Israelite thing. Well, the day that you're freaking off is the day that all hell is going to break loose, and that door is going to be closed. And guess what? You're going to be caught out there, and you're going to have to deal with it, man. Right? So you have to be ready. Like they say, stay ready or you be ready so you don't have to get ready, man. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. Right? Because the days of evil draw nigh on the earth. And a lot of these events that you see transpiring in other countries are shortly going to befall Babylon the Great. Right? This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 16. Like as an arrow, which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward. Even so again, the plagues, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Yeah, I've never seen an archer reach into his quiver, shoot an arrow, the arrow hit the target, then pull itself out the target, fly back to the archer, and land back in the quiver. I've never seen it, man. I've never seen somebody shoot a gun and a bullet hit him, go through him, turn back around, and go back in the chamber. It doesn't happen, man. Once that bullet, that projectile, that ballistic weapon is shot forth to the target, it's already on its way, man. It's not coming back. And the Most High, he has his arrow and he's reaching in his quiver and he's taking out famine and he's loading it up and he's shooting it in the earth. He's taking out riots and pandemonium, launching it, and he's hitting Cuba. And he takes another famine, riot, and he's launching it and he's hitting Haiti. He's taking World War III and spirits of sedition and launching them and hitting Babylon the Great. Taking spirits of madness and folly out there in Europe, and he's taking and he's launching it over there, man. And all of these arrows, which are, really spirits, they're going to and fro through the earth, and they're not going to return again, right? That's why Ezra said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Who's going to really deliver Ezra, man? That was his thought. And he was one of the elect. Not too long before this chapter, in 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter. Remember, the Most High told him that unto you the tree of life is planted. Right? Paradise is open, paraphrasing. He was told that he would enter into everlasting life. But when he saw all of the hell breaking loose in the earth, he said, who's going to deliver me in those days? That's how evil those days are going to be. He saw it. Right now, we're talking about it. Right? But he actually saw what's coming on the earth, man. Your job isn't going to be here too much longer. The money that you dealing with, you so worried about, it's not going to be there, man, too much longer. It's only a matter of time before Yahweh Bashmi Abashah shut this entire economy and shut this whole place down, man. That car that you try to, you're breaking the Shabbat for to save up money, them days when you're not reading because you're trying to get, whatever, all of that stuff is going to be diminished, right? Verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and a power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? And that's what he asks, man. What am I going to do when these evils come on the earth? Now, it doesn't say, what shall I do if these evils come? Where is if at? What shall I do should these evils come? What if these evils come? No, it says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? It's inevitable. It will happen. Right? And right now, we're going to go into some things that are currently happening on the earth that are a precursor to what's going to happen in Babylon the Great. Right? Because a lot of people see what's going on in Haiti or Cuba or Europe and other parts of the earth, and they think that this Babylon won't be touched, man. Remember, America, they're likening it to a virgin, right? Some of the traits about a virgin is they haven't been touched before. They haven't been tainted. They have yet to be defiled, and they're pure, and upright and pious. So America, these Americans, they're not going to know what hit them once the Most High send those plagues here, man. And it's only a matter of time before those spirits trickle in, right? You got this so-called immigration influx coming in. Now they saying you got Levi swimming from Haiti coming to Florida, man. All of these spirits are coming here, right? This Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. So sitting in the dust, meaning you come from a high estate, from your throne, from rulership. Whereas in Isaiah the 18th chapter, Revelation the 18th chapter, Babylon the Great says, I sit as a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow, right? So she's likened it to a queen sitting on the throne. The Lord is snatching her garment from her, lifting up her skirt, taking her crown, and putting her in the dust, meaning the lower state. That's why I said there is no throne, sit on the ground. You're not a queen. Babylon, a great time is coming to an end, man. So if you're investing your fidelity, your 401k, you worry about your credit score, you're worried about, are you going to finally get that car you've been saving up for in 5 years? Are you going to eventually be the CEO? Right? You got Jake that you're still trying to be a rapper, man. You're still trying to make it in this society. Now you in this world, but you use this world and don't abuse it. Right? So we get you perfectly. You have to still render unto Caesar the things that be unto Caesar. But a lot of brothers don't render unto the Most High the things that be unto the Most High. Right? And it leads to an unjust balance, and they get caught out there. Not knowing that the throne is about to be snatched from this kingdom. Right? Right now on the earth, right? You got Cuba blames U.S. for stoking protests amid power cuts and food shortages. So Babylon the Great, through their CIA, right, through their government agencies and FBI, they love to infiltrate various countries and set up coups and set up military factions to overthrow governments. They're well known for doing that, right? They call them political assassins, and there's other terms that they call these guys. They're actual men. They get hired, and their job is to infiltrate various countries and overthrow them from the inside out. They meet up with rebels, people that want to overthrow the kingdom. They set up deals and give them guns, train them how to shoot, fund them, give them money, millions of dollars, set them up so they can overthrow the country. Then they let those guys rule till they cut those guys down. Then they take over. That's what America's known for doing, man. Right now, there's still a lot of speculation about what's going on in Cuba, but right now, all hell is breaking loose in Cuba, huh? In the land of Manasseh, right? Shalom, King.
Shalom, King.
Right, can you hear me?
Khan.
Right, can you hear me out?
Khan, King.
All right, come. All right. I don't trip. All right. Yeah, Salaki. So amongst the Manassites, now you got other tribes there. You know, you got Ephraim, Issachar. You might have some, a lot of Benjamin there. You got a lot of tribes in Cuba, but Cuba right now, they're rioting and they're blaming the whore of Babylon the Great for stoking protest amid power cuts and food shortages. Right now, I want to get this precept real quick at Jeremiah. Then we're going to go into this. Right, we got some video footage too. We want to get right. Let me get this in Jeremiah chapter 51. Right, let's see. God, this Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. See that? The nations are drunken of her wine, man. A lot of these nations let America in, man. Cuba, at one time, when you know their history, they were, and they still are, they were strong allies with Russia. You had something called the Cuban Missile Crisis. You had Castro, Fidel Castro, you had Gorbachev, you had all these different men, man, setting up, and now Russia wants to put missiles in Cuba now, man. But Cuba's hot, man. They were drinking off of their wine too. All of these countries have been drinking off of the wine of America. They have done political deals. They allowed them to have military bases, embassies. They let American citizens go there and influence their civilians on how to act and how to conduct themselves in all manners of debauchery and lewdness. Everybody's drunk, man. And therefore, the nations are mad, right? They're actually bugged out. And on another sense, they're actual hot, man, about what's going on in their countries as they wake up to the reality that Babylon the Great has never had their best interest at heart. Now they're blaming Babylon the Great for stoking protest and fueling the fire, man. Right? Let me jump down real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahweh, which destroyest all the earth. And I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. And Babylon the Great, they are that destroying mountain. They have destroyed nations. They have destroyed nations' economies. This is not just talking about the water and the air. They have everything they touch, they destroy, man. They have destroyed the minds of the people. They have destroyed nations' infrastructure. They have destroyed governments. They have destroyed kingdoms, resources. Right? They have robbed and pillaged and raped the earth. And now you have nations speaking up against it, man. Shouting against Babylon the Great. Saying, what the hell have you done, man? So Cuba blames U.S. for stoking, meaning they're enhancing, right? They're behind this protest, right? Amid power cuts and food shortages, right? You got it, King.
Khan is right. But I want to pull this quick precept. It's the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse number 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredom and families through her witchcraft. Right? So through America's witchcraft and sorcery, all nations have been deceived, right? And all nations have been deceived on a financial level, right? With currency, they have been deceived on every single type of level you kind of look at it on, right? Spiritually, right? All of these different things are religiously, right? America dives in many type of ways to striking that poison. It says, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts, right? Meaning I'm going to show you secret parts. All of the things America has had hid, right, for centuries, right, decades, things that's going on in the dark, right, all of the things that they got going on, the Lord has to uncover their secrets. That's why when you read 2 Thessalonians, when you go into it, the Lord has to reveal the man of sin. The man of sin has to be revealed. It's no longer a secret while the world is in an uproar, where all of the natural habitats, right, have been taken down, right, that this man may continue to build up the society, where all of the different trade and the different things of the earth are upside down by this man's rulership. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness. So, I mean, this is prophecy that Cuba, Russia, China, and all other of these nations are uncovering America's nakedness. Meaning they're seeing America for who America truly is, man. A whore. It says, and the kingdom's thy shame. Right? I want to get one more 2 Thessalonians, right? Chapter 2. Right? So the Most High has to reveal the man of sin. Right? I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So America has to be taken out of the way. Esau has to be destroyed. It says, I'm going to start at 7 again. For the mystery of iniquity. Man, a lot of people don't really understand why the world is the way it is. It's a mystery. It's a mystery to why everybody's being overthrown in certain situations, right? In world politics, right? But the Lord is uncovering the skirt and the spirit of Babylon the Great. And then shall that wicked be revealed. It's being revealed by the hand of the Most High, but by the prophets of the Most High. And not only just by the prophets, the Lord's putting a spirit on these nations that are not in the truth, that have no understanding about 2 Thessalonians, 2nd Esdras, the 15th, the 16th chapter, Revelations, the in-depth prophecies. The Most High's putting a spirit on them, right, for them to uncover America for who America really is. It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and, right, shall destroy him with the brightness of his coming. It says, even him, right, who's coming is as the workings of Satan. Right? So all the workings of America is imaged after the workings of Satan. Because Satan is the God of this world. Right? The God of, you read about that in 2nd, right, Corinthians, the 4th chapter. He's the God of this world, or the prince of this world, like you read about in John, the 16th chapter. Right? So the prince and the king of this world and the God of this world moves in the spirit of Esau, manifested on earth, just like we're the sons of God. It says, even him who's coming is after workings of Satan. And what does Satan want to do? He's an adversary. He wants to destroy you, kill you, poison you, right? Give you false philosophies, doctrines, with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? So the power is given to him by Satan. The signs you see is all of the earthquakes and all things that are coming to pass by the Most High. But the signs that he's showing, bro, what is he showing, man? He's going into nations that he doesn't pertain into, man. He's starting wars, right? He's bucking up, right, against the Most High. The signs and the things that he's doing is he's showing his horns. Everything where you could say, well, out of all the nations on earth, who's Babylon the Great? And then you look at America and all of the signs that it's showing, that's the workings of Satan and lying wonders, right? Hope, right? This world will continue. They're going to win World War III. All of the lying wonders and the things, right, that they got going on, right? This is the last precept, verse 10. And, right, it says, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And whoever's getting caught up in this beast and not understanding the times we're living in is them that have been deceived by all of the signs and lying wonders. You got it, King.
That's right, man. And Cuba, you know, they're calling it out, man. See, some of these nations, they know the wickedness of America, but they won't shout it out. They won't put it on the forefront, man. Right? They kind of just take it on the chin and, okay, well, we don't want to get bombed. You know, all of our children be getting sex trafficked, and we don't want our children taken anymore, right? It's like, we don't want our hospitals bombed anymore. You know, we'll take it on the chin. And they say, hey, look, man, enough is enough. So Cuba blames U.S. for stoking protests amid power cuts and food shortages. Now I just pulled this up. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm gonna go into this article. Right now, this says rejects. Hold on. Cuba's claim of, let's see. So now they just retaliated, and they said we have nothing to do with this, man. So this is from 5 hours ago, right? They just said, look, you're lying. Now, who do we believe? Do we believe Esau? We're going to dive into it, right? But they said Washington has said it was not involved in recent, quote unquote, rare protests in Cuba. Havana summoned the top U.S. ambassador on the island over the incident, man. Right? So they're trying to bring Esau on charges, right? Of sedition. That's what that is. It's called sedition. Which, if Babylon the Great, which 99% sure they did this, that would be hypocrisy. Because if you commit sedition in the soils of America, guess what, man? Right? You get jammed up by their government and by their laws. But America goes around these other countries and stirs up sedition and confusion and then wipes their hands clean as if they had nothing to do with it. Right? So let's go into this real quick. All right. U.S. Embassy says it's absurd to suggest Washington behind protests in Santiago de Cuba led by parents struggling to feed their children. Right? I wonder why there's no adequate food on the earth. Right? Why nations are starving when you bring in billions of dollars and you have Israelites struggling to feed their children. I wonder why. Right? I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it says the Cuban government has summoned the U.S. ambassador, Benjamin Ziff, to its foreign ministry, accusing Washington of stoking a protest which saw hundreds of people take to the streets in the island's second city of Santiago de Cuba. And they probably did this because Russia is looking to put their nuclear weapons in Cuba. So they probably want Cuba to be overthrown so Russia can't have any stable place to launch their missiles from Cuba to aim at America. Right? It reads, now that's theoretical, right? But we know how this devil operates, man. Like the brother went into that, he deals with sorcery. The demonstration late on Sunday was a rare public show of disenchantment. See that? Enchantment is witchcraft. So they said the demonstration was a rare public show of disenchantment against Cuba's communist government. It was apparently led by parents struggling to feed their children in the face of a worsening food crisis. The protest was reportedly chanted, without electricity and food, the people get hot. Power cuts of up to 18 hours a day have meant that as the island heads into the summer, it's almost impossible to preserve what little food there is. And Babylon the Great, they're known for starting famines in other countries, man. Right? Cutting off water, cutting off food to Israel. That's one of their tactics that they do against the children of Israel, man. Right? They did it in the time of Judith. Right? They did it in the time of the Romans. They did it in the time of the Babylonians. Right? Now, I want to jump down. Sunday's protest reportedly began when mothers turned up at a government building complaining they could not provide for their children, chanting, "We are hungry." Right? Similar protests broke out in El Cabre and Bayamo, while smaller groups gathered in Santa Marta near the Veradero Beach Resort and in the city of Matanas. Right? The U.S. Embassy in Cuba tweeted, "We urge the Cuban government to respect the human rights of the protesters and address the legitimate needs of the Cuban people." Right? So these people are, look at this. They have salaries as low as $10 a month. State salaries now as low as $10 a month. You can't do nothing with that, man. Can you imagine $10 a month as a state salary? So this is madness, man. This is madness going on in Cuba. Now these are I want to pull up the video, right? So these are protests in Cuba. Now this is from 4 hours ago. So let's pull this up. Hold on, I got to get the sound. Right, bear with me. Damn, $10 a month, man. And Esau over here living in a damn mansion, right? Being a registered sex offender, taking little children, and they're over there trying to feed their families, man. Right? So, like, I gotta do this the right way. Right? Bear with me. Right? All right, here you have it. So now you'll see these protests going on in Cuba.
And you're taking a look at just one of the many public protests erupting in the streets of Cuba today. Hundreds of people can be heard chanting Patria y Vida, which is homeland and life. Citizens are protesting the lack of food and electricity following hours-long blackouts across much of the island's provinces. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba has addressed the protests, urging the Cuban government to respect human rights. And
okay, well, what America? What are you doing with an embassy? They have embassies all over, man. Esau's always somewhere on the earth, man. Let me get this quick precept. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba, right? Just planting their damn seeds all over the place, man. Right, this is the classic. I got a quick precept. Right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So he sins by his wine, his philosophies, his democracy. He had to seduce the Manassites and the people of that land in order to even put an embassy there. What kind of conversation and smooth words were put, man, to say, look, we're going to put an embassy here? What kind of threats were involved? So he gathereth unto him all nations. If we pull up a map, you'll see U.S. embassies all over the world, man. Now, here's what's going on in Cuba. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So this is Habakkuk 2 and 6 being fulfilled, man. All these nations that America oppressed, the Lord said they're going to take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Which means what? You're a thief, man. They're calling America a thief, and they're calling them for what they are, right? So for everybody that's saying the Bible isn't real, Cuba, Haiti, a lot of these countries, they are fulfilling Habakkuk 2 and 6, right? I'm going to read two more. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Meaning these nations that you oppress, where your embassies are and military bases, don't you know these countries are going to burn them down, man? They're going to burn down those embassies. They're going to destroy and kill your political officials, your generals, your ambassadors, your diplomats in those lands are going to be killed by the natives of those countries. That's what Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 7 is saying. They're going to rise up and awake out of that deep sleep and wine and call you the demon that you are and destroy your buildings and your people, man. Right? Because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. It's going to be a civil war, man. And all hell is going to break loose in those streets, right? When those people start to rebel, right, against everybody that's over top of them in the city, right? I mean, that's just going to be prophecy fulfilled. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at 50. It says, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. All right, so all the power that America once had, right, back in the 50s and, you know, certain on all the way down, America used to be, you know, everybody wanted to come to America.
Right.
That was the American dream, to start your family, right? The East Indians will come to America. The Chinese will come to America. make businesses, right? You could take out loans, white picket fences, land to be taken, right? Everybody wanted to come to America. But the Lord said, and the glory of thy power. Because you got to understand, America's likened unto a woman. And a whorish woman is going to be decked with pearls, right? Scarlet color robe, and she's going to be haughty. And everybody's looking at that glory and saying, look, I want some of that. But the Lord said, the glory of thy power, meaning the strength and the military and everything that you have, shall be dried up as a flower. And if you know anything about something being dried up, right, it takes time for that moisture to cease and come out of something. Meaning over time, the Lord is going to slowly decay and break down Babylon. And the Most High judges in measure. The Most High has prophecy in measure. The Lord weighs things in a balance, right? So, I mean, it's beautiful that the Most High gives time for Jake to see these things coming to pass and wake up, and for the elect, you understand, to whiten their garment and make sure that you're ready for the coming of the Lord. And it also gives you an ample opportunity to gird it and watch prophecies. And all you want the Lord ASAP, you got to make sure your garment is white, man. You got to make sure you're ready, right? The Most High does everything in his time, in perfect balance. And it's not, in that day of the Lord, you can't say you weren't warned, right? The prophets have warned you, right? The uproars in the streets, you see nations against nation, right? It says, and when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee, thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman. So, I mean, a poor woman, she barely could walk, man. She need a cane. And the Lord said, America and these different nations, right, as the Lord starts to have the judgment upon the earth, thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be received. Who's America, man? And everybody affiliate with, man, right? These different nations. All our lovers and everybody she jump in bed with is not going to be able to help her in these days, because they're all going to turn their back against America. Well, you got Cuba, right? Russia, China, right? America's making 1,000, right? Opponents and oppositions against them in these days, man. And it's only going to get worse and wax worse. But you got it, Ken.
Yeah, it's going to get real bad, man. And the Lord said in Second Ezra, the 9th chapter, that there will be earthquakes and uproars of the people. Right? Let me get that real quick. This Second Ezra, chapter 9. It's one of my favorite chapters, right? Second Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So you have to measure the time. You have to literally look at what's going on in the earth. Stop watching sports all day. It's not a sin to watch it. Stop binge watching sports and binge watching your favorite movie, and you're taking on all these hobbies, and you got so much on your plate, and you got 5 cats and 4 dogs, and you're looking to adopt a Cushite because all of this madness going on. Right? Watch what's going on in the earth, man. Right? So right now we're looking at this and we're thinking of precepts, and we're going back into precepts and saying, okay, well, hold on, that's Second Ezra 9:3. Okay, that prophecy happened. That means, okay, this prophecy is going to happen next. Okay, but then before that prophecy goes, okay, we got to go to Luke, the 21st chapter, because Luke 21, and that's how you measure the prophecy. You see what's going on in the earth when you go back to the scriptures and you link it up with the scriptures, man. Right? And one of the major signs to let you know that the Most High is visiting the earth is written in 2 Ezra 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Now, uproars of the people are what you have going on right here. Riots, protests, pandemonium. And really over the last, 10 years or so, there's been more riots and pandemonium and instability in governments than ever recorded in human history. Don't you know there was a time when The citizens respected the government. They feared the government. They believed in elected officials. There was a time when politicians were the great hope of any country, man. People voted, people ran for office, they studied, they went to college, they wanted to change their country. The citizens respected the government. They looked at these guys like they were kings and gods, man. They were the founding fathers. They made statues of George Washington, man, Roosevelt, Lincoln, and that other devil, man. And a lot of these heathens, they honored their leaders as if they were gods. Is that what's going on right now? They're riding in Europe, man. Right? They're damn making mockery of Joe Biden. They're making memes of Donald Trump. Nobody respects these world leaders anymore. Nobody cares that there's an embassy in Cuba. They don't care, man. They say we hot, man. We need food. We want water. People are on the edge and they're ready to just overthrow anything in their sight, man. And that spirit that you see in Cuba, it will hit Babylon the Great, man. You know? So I just want to bring that up. So we got 28 seconds on this. We start over.
And you're taking a look at just one of the many public protests.
Hey, and nothing more. You don't want to deal with a Jake and he hot and he hungry, man. And he mad. You don't want to deal with that kind of, he irritated, man. 18 hours, no electricity, no food, and he hot, man. You know?
Erupting in the streets of Cuba today. Hundreds of people can be heard chanting Patria y Vida, which is homeland and life. Citizens are protesting the lack of food and electricity following hours-long blackouts across much of the island's provinces. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba has addressed the protests, urging the Cuban government to respect human rights and address the needs of the Cuban people.
That's hypocrisy. So you got the so-called white man in Cuba telling the Cuban government, make sure you treat your people well. Right? That's why he got to go down. Because first of all, what the hell are you doing in Cuba? Second of all, who are you to tell another government on how to deal with their people, man? You can't even control your own people. This is madness.
Across much of the island's provinces. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba has addressed the protests, urging the Cuban government to respect human rights and address the needs of the Cuban people. And here in South Florida, dozens of Cubans are voicing their support of those protests by standing in solidarity outside of Versailles restaurant in Little Havana tonight.
You see that? Now they out there in Florida, man. So that the Most High got that spirit spreaded from Cuba to Florida.
This is the scene where protesters have gathered over the last few hours, waving Cuban and American flags. Several leaders, including Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava and Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar, have released statements calling for change.
So now you got Babylonian the Great political leaders speaking up against
whatever your business needs. Vistaprint
speaking up against what's going on in Cuba, man. Right? So you got a lot going on in the earth. Right? You got a lot going on in the earth. Also, let me see it. Hold on. Is this showing? You able to see this?
No.
It says Jimmy Barbecue.
I see it. Edomite woman.
Okay. Because now you got riots going on in Haiti too, man. Right? Amongst the Levites. You got a man named Barbecue. Now they say this guy's out there eating people. We don't know. Right? You know, Esau, he has his propaganda, right? To paint people in a negative light. But nevertheless, you have riots going on in Haiti as well, man. And he say that this guy's a revolutionary, man. Right? So you got this guy named Jimmy Barbecue, Cherzier, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Haitian's gang leader seeking to topple the government. So now you have Haiti in a massive Haiti right now is worse than Cuba, man. They literally overthrew the government. And they say this guy, Jimmy Barbecue, started it. Huh? So you have Manasseh shouting against Esau, and you got Levi. They shouting against Esau. You got a lot of the tribes, man. Issachar, they invading the country. Zebulon, they invading. They say we don't give a damn about the borders anymore. All of the tribes are really kind of getting stirred up, man. You know, a lot of the tribes are stirring themselves up against Babylon the Great. Right? So we're not going to read this whole thing, but hold on, I wanted to jump down. Right? Bear with me. So you got this guy overthrowing the government. Right? You got this guy overthrowing the government. Now this says gangs are now estimated to control most of the capital. Henry traveled to Nairobi last week to seal a deal for Kenya to lead the proposed UN-backed force. Although the United Nations has yet to publish details on the scale of the force, its funding, or possible deployment date. So Haiti's government declared a state of emergency following violent clashes in the capital that have damaged communications and led to 2 prison breaks as a major gang leader. And they call this guy a gang leader, right? They probably call Judas Maccabees a gang leader. Anybody that's not a puppet for the so-called white man, they'll call him a gang leader, or they'll demonize him, right? A terrorist, and right, seeks to oust Prime Minister Ariel Henry, right? So you got Levi, they're overthrowing Haiti and overthrowing the government, right? You have something on this, King?
Let
me play this real quick. See if I want to play this whole thing. Right? I don't want to play the whole video, but you got riots going on in Haiti. Play a little of this. Right? So Jake, don't say, well, okay, well, that's Haiti. I'm glad it's not here. It's coming here, man. It's coming to a city near you.
Carrying U.S. citizens out of Haiti has arrived in Miami with just under 50 people on board. It flew out of the northern town of Cap Haitien as gang violence has closed the airport in the capital, Port-au-Prince.
She looks sick, too. She looked like she's not going to make it.
Gangs still control large parts of the capital, and people are trying to head north to safer areas.
See that? U.S. evacuates citizens stranded in Haiti. Because them Levites, they looking to kill you, man.
Right.
They don't give. Let me get this quick precept. See, one thing about Levi, they're not like the other tribes, right? Levi has a spirit on them by the Most High. The word Levi actually means joined to the Most High. Lawyer in the Hebrew, joined to the Most High. They're the priests of the Lord, and they have a different spirit of zeal. And they're not going to look at these U.S. citizens. They'll damn chop you up, man, and throw you in the ocean. They don't care if you're a citizen or a politician. Real quick, this Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 8, right? This is the blessing of Levi. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, right? The Thummim and Urim, that's Thamyum wa Arayim, right? Or Warrium, which means the lights and perfection. They were set in the high priest's garment, right? It reads, who said to his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, but they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. So the Most High is telling you that the Levites, they don't even care if you're their brother, right? When the Lord said in Exodus 32, who's on the Lord's side, all of the Levites came and they had to kill their own brother, man, their own family, when they were worshiping the golden calf, right? So Levi, they have a fury to destroy opposition of the Most High. I'm gonna jump down. Verse 11. Bless Yahweh his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. So the Lord will put a spirit on Levi to kill those who hate him, that they don't rise again. So these citizens, they're not getting a round trip. I'll tell you that. They looking to get a one way, and they not coming back, man. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. And I want to touch on Levi too in the book of Numbers, the 25th chapter. Right, they always rise up for judgment, man. Right, when you go into Levi and Simeon, right, in the book of Genesis, the 34th chapter, when you dive into Numbers, the 25th chapter, when you going into the Maccabees, they always stand up and they ready to get you know what done, man. Right, I mean they're very vocal when it comes to war, man. Right, and they took down the French, right, got their independence. Right. In 1804, they did all of these things on their own. Think when they got the spirit of the Most High in them in righteousness. Think when it's really time to go to war. All right, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 6. It says, and, right, I'm going to start at 5. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one of his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. Meaning slay them with the sword. It says, and behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who, when weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation. Right? He didn't sit there and ponder it for 5 minutes. Right. And a lot of brothers, they see wickedness and they say under their breath, that's off. Oh, that's just off, man. That'll never be me. They had a type of spirit where it was about action. It says in the congregation, right, and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent. He chased them down and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. Right, and a lot of people, they're real emotional. I can't slay my brother. I can't lift my voice up to my own brother. I can't do this. I can't do that. Hey, the Lord made a scourge of whips and beat people out of the temple when he saw wickedness being done. Right. So, I mean, when you have an assertive type of spirit like Nehemiah and you chasing somebody down, or, you know, these type of men, they had a spirit about action. Right. And Levi, their whole spirit is to be joined to the Most High. Right. It says, and took a javelin in his hand. Right, and went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Right, when you really go into it, the plague was stayed. It says in the book of Psalms that then rose up Phinehas for judgment. Right, meaning he had to exercise judgment, and judgment goes into killing too. Right, judgment isn't always acquiring a matter and giving your 2 cents and pulling a precept. A judgment goes into death as well, right? So he rose up, right, through the hand of the Most High, and he thrust through that man so that the plague was stayed. If it wasn't for Phinehas through the hand of the Most High, that plague would have continued to grow and it could have overtook Israel.
Oh, God. So you got these citizens, man, they looking to get out of there, right? They looking to get, because to add to Ari's point, the so-called white man is a plague, man. He's a damn plague in Haiti. Now you got U.S. people in Cuba and in Haiti. They just all over the earth, man. I'll get rid of Habakkuk. Now they keep it at home. And I hope they don't make it out. You know, like I said, they're looking to get a one-way ticket.
Yes. Our Central America correspondent, Will Grant, is one of the first international journalists to get into the country and reports now from Cap Haitien, where many displaced people have been heading.
Cap Haitien suffers from almost all of Haiti's deepest problems: grinding poverty, chaos, disorder and corruption, but crucially not gang violence. So it's becoming the main safe haven for people forced to leave the gang-controlled capital, Port-au-Prince.
So the whole capital got taken down. Now they call Esau, keep throwing that word gang out there. Now, is it a gang? Is it a military? Is it a national guard that's being created by the people to overthrow the corruption that the so-called white man has set up in Haiti? Right. So it remains to be seen.
Another busload arrives, having run the gauntlet of a dangerous journey. It took us hours longer than it should, as we had to reroute around the gang checkpoints and there was gunfire, says this passenger, who was clearly shaken. Fennel Pierre made the same journey 6 months ago. It's almost impossible to pull yourself from poverty in Haiti. Fennel managed it. But becoming a middle-class businessman made him a target. The gangs destroyed his business, ransacked his house, and tried to kidnap him, and in the process plunged him and his family back into poverty.
Look how Levi's living down there, man. Right? Need to drop a lot of these Judites over there in Haiti, man.
It's just 2% of the life I used to live. In fact, I'm not living. I'm just existing.
Prepared to take on the Haitian state. Slickly produced video currently circulating online. It shows a well-armed militia, a group prepared to take on the Haitian state and any international force which might be deployed here. While the security situation is that of a failed state, so are the politics.
They said they actually going to send American soldiers down there. Right? When you look it up, they actually said we're going to send U.S. troops down there to try to see what's going on. Now, I believe they sent them down there already, right? But you got these Levites, they ready to overthrow the so-called white man too, man. Like I said, a lot of these nations, man, or really like the Most High said, they're going to shout against thee, man. Right? Let me get this precept in Job chapter 20 real quick. Right? Let me get this in Job. I believe that's chapter 20 and 27. Right? This is Job chapter 20 and verse 27. It reads, I'll read 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Right? So the earth is rising up against the so-called white man, man. Right? And there's a plethora of other precepts, and there's another one I want in Job, but that one is saying that the earth is going to rise up against the so-called white man. And you're not just going to see it here. It's going to be in Babylon the Great. You have it going on in Cuba. You got it going on in Haiti, man. You got it going on in other parts of the earth where these tribes are going to rise up against Esau. Right? You have something, Ryan?
That was making me think that he's not going to escape, man. That's just the mark of Cain, man. Everybody's going to uncover who this man is, and they're going to chase this man out of the earth, man. Like it says in the book of Job, the 18th chapter. Right? Let me get that real fast. The Lord said he's literally going to get chased out of the earth.
Right.
Right. It's the book of Job, chapter 18. Right, in verse number 18, he shall be driven from light into darkness, right? Because he's the light on the left-hand side of this world. Everything when you think is hope, right? Salvation and goodwill, college, job systems and everything. You think this man has the light of it. But the Lord said he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. And that's not just chased by us as Israel. All these other nations are going to chase him too, man. Right? China's going to chase him. Right? These other nations, they're going to gear up. Right? The Arabians, they're going to chase him. He's going to get literally chased out of the earth. Right? Now, the intentions of the so-called white man, I wanted to pull additions to Esther chapter 12 real fast. In verse number 6, it says, howbeit Ammon, right? Ammon is a so-called white man, the son of Amathadis, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the 2 eunuchs of the king. So he sought to manipulate, overthrow, and cast down Mordecai and all of Israel, meaning they plot and they plan. They have secret councils to overthrow you. But the Most High is going to put it in the spirit, like we keep going into with all these other nations, to uncover who this man is. I got one more. It's Isaiah 25:7. And he would destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. See, people right now, or they were having a veil over their face, meaning they can't really see clearly who the man of sin is, what's going on, who's their real enemy. The Lord said he would destroy. If you take away a covering cast or a veil, then you'll be able to see clearly. It says the covering cast over all people, meaning all the nations have had a covering cast placed upon their face, but they can't clearly see what's going on. It says, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So in the last day, that veil was getting taken off, and that man of sin is being revealed. And we see him for the molester that he is, that the scriptures talk about, the thief that he is, the robber that he is. It says in the book of Job, let me get one more, right? In the book of Job, chapter 20, in verse number 18, right? It says, he's like it, that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down according to his substance, shall be the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice in them, because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he built not. And he's always in other lands taking away things that don't pertain unto him, man. Taking away food from Cuba, kicking down doors, stealing oil, right? Changing things around in the ordinances. So this man has to be chased out of the earth. I mean, if you pick on 15 people and or 8 people, whatever case may be, don't be surprised when they all turn and jump you. But you got it.
And that's the spirit, because I wanted to go into this chapter and I wanted to read verse 22, right? Just a few verses down, right? It reads, in the fullness, Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Now, Esau is already the wicked. So why is it saying every hand of the wicked shall come upon him? When you go into this word wicked, right, it's really speaking about the people that the so-called white man enslaved, man. The workforce, right? Every other nation who's in debt to Esau. So that word in the wicked, it says laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, right? Toiler. So these are the workforce, man. It says toiling concretely, a laborer, sorrowful that laboreth, that is a misery, had taken labor, wicked workman, right? So it's really speaking about a workman, man. Somebody that's laboring, going through misery and catching hell. And the Lord said every hand of those people is going to be upon a so-called white man. So that linked directly up what the Bible was saying. If you bullying and molesting, God knows how many people, the Most High said every one of their hands is now going to be upon you, because you stretched all your hands and all your bombs and might and military upon them. So Job is speaking against the so-called white man. Yeah, brother saying just the story of Job and his 3 friends, and Job and he had boils, and that's end all be all Job. On to the book of Psalms. No, Job is about destruction, prophecy, parables, being tempted. It goes to the destruction of America, the rising of Israel, and it's speaking about Job is prophesying, or in Job it's prophesying about every country's hand and military might coming against Esau, man. Because everybody's to suffer. Everybody's the suffered or the sufferer. The earth, the Levites are the wretched ones in the eyes of Esau, the barbarians, the workmen, the laborers to build up this man's economy, man. And they're going to finally, and they're doing it now, they're going to take and turn against Esau, man. So that's why you have this great riot going on in Haiti, man, and in Cuba, and in other parts of the earth, right? Now, you also, like I said, we got a lot we want to kind of get into, right? You also have, let's see if I can play this clip real quick. Oh, this, right? Now, this is from a few days ago, kind of shifting gears, but it's the same thing. Because as these riots continually increase, That's one prophecy, but you got also other prophecies coming to pass too, man. Right? This says a financial crimes agency suggests banks close accounts of conservative hate groups. So if you're in a hate group, right, rather you are a conservative hate group, if you're a black supremacist, right, and all you Israelites that's watching this live that believe you're an Israelite, you by default, you're in that category. Right? Now you can say, well, I'm not in the camp. That's why I don't deal with y'all. Y'all hate, y'all teach hate. Well, you're part of this thing, man. Well, how do they know me? Little old me. I live somewhere in Colorado. They don't know me. They know you. Hey, Watchmen for Israel, we're classified as a hate group. That's what they say, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. And you're watching us right now. So you're involved in this. You're involved in this thing, man.
Right.
You're in this thing too. Now you got brothers leaving alive. I got people slamming a laptop. Oh, shit. Slamming a laptop and unplugging the damn router, man. Turning the lights off in the house and looking out the blinds like a creep. No, you're in this thing. It says financial crimes agency suggests banks. So they putting this out there, man. Right? Banks close accounts of conservative hate groups. So don't be surprised if you got Wells Fargo. We'll go into this thing. What's another one? Capital One, Citibank, right? Bank of America, if you got these banks, credit unions, don't be surprised if you put your car in the ATM, huh? And it starts damn flagging red alert, red alert. You go to the bank and you try to make a withdrawal, and they say, look, just stay here 1 second. And they act like they're on the phone. And they looking at you. And they press that button under the desk. Then you see the police pull up. And you can't get your money out your account. And this is a big deal going on right here, man. Right? I want to get this quick precept. So I mean, things heating up, man. Things, all right, you got it real quick. I got to find this. You got it, King. I think it's in, let me get this in. Ooh. Actually, let me get this real quick. Right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse, this whole thing's good. I'm going to start at 12. But before all these, they shall lay hands on you and persecute you. Right? And persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. So this is persecution going on. Right? You're not going to be able to get into your account, right? If they allow this thing to actually go down. Right now, they're putting it out there. But if this thing actually comes into fruition, then, it is what it is, man. And everybody else is going to be able to eat and enjoy life, and you're going to be caught out there. Now, real quick, they did this to I believe it was an Edomite, a Shedemite, or it could have been an Eve. I can't remember. I might have to find it. Where they shut her out her account. I can't remember what she did. It just happened, but they shut her completely out of her account because she said something. I don't know if it was in America or another country, but they shut her out, man. So they're starting to block people based off of your thoughts and what you think, because they got you listed and they on file, man. And they got you on file based off of tracking you, and they'll put you in a category and they'll shut you out of your account, man. Right? You got it, King.
And that just goes to show you that nothing in this place is yours. When the Lord said rise and depart and all of these precepts, you can't think that anything in America is yours, man. Right? Not the money, not the car, not the wealth that you've accumulated here. All this got to go. Hey, when we depart out of this place, our bodies are going to change, man. Right? We can't leave anything in this place. Our mindset can't be in Babylon. When we rise up and depart, we got to get out of there, man. What happened to Lot's wife when she looked back? All of the substance and things that they once had, right? She got burned, man. She got turned to a pillar of salt. So you can't look back in this world and the things that, are so-called with this world redeem his riches, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. And I'm going to start at verse number 7. It said, the paper reads by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, even the things sown by the brooks shall wither. So anything sown by the brooks, meaning water, it's going to wither away. Don't sow your life in a 401k. And not to say you can't be wise, right? You don't have to sell everything you have and buy 100,000 Bibles, man, right? In a backpack, just in case somebody steal them and you just want to move with all the apocryphers and all of the Bibles. You want to be wise, but your strength in your mind and your soul shouldn't be tied up in this place. When you read Revelations, the 18th chapter, it says the souls of men are in this place, man. Right. Meaning America has you in sorcery. It says the paper reads by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, even everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. Meaning that's money. What's of the sold by the books? Businesses, loans, education. Right. Everything you sow in America, right, in Egypt, by the brooks, are where it's supposed to bring forth water and plentiful and life, right, and prosperity. The Lord said it's going to wither away. It says, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast anger into the brooks shall lament. Meaning not only you, whatever you sow into this place, but even America itself, man. All of the trucks that bring in trade and all of the ships, all of these things are going to cease and they're not going to continue. It says, moreover, they that work and find flack and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in by purposes thereof, and all that make solutions and ponds for fishes. All right, so the Lord said everything that's sown upon this place, right, is going to wither away. So don't put your life and your mind, right, in anything of this world into America. Because like you see right here, say financial crimes, agencies suggest banks close accounts, right? So they're going to be closing your account. And when they close your account, guess who's getting that money, man? Esau. Who got it?
Come on. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
All right. Let me get this quick precept to add to that, man. Now, this is the book of Luke, chapter 12, right? This is a quick precept. And I got to find it, but there was a woman, and I believe she spoke against her government, or she has some type of religious, attitude towards something. And they shut her account out too, man. And there's another article where they said, I'm going to pull this up as well, where federal agencies are giving banks automated censorship tools to flag possible domestic terrorists and any Americans, right, who buy Bibles or support the enforcement of immigration law. So they put that out there too, man. And we're going to pull that up, Lord willing. Nevertheless, this is Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. It reads, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not of the abundance of the things which he possesseth. So don't get too caught up in this world, man. Right? And what you have, and the latest phone, and the latest shoes, and the latest TV, and the latest car, and the latest house, and you're decorating your house, and I'm gonna be here 20 years, 50 years. This spot is gonna be for my grandson, and I'm gonna carve me out a chair, for my granddaughter for the back porch, and I'll build this right here, my college fund. You start getting into this thing, man. Getting the drunkenness in the system of the world. Verse 16, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And that's what Jake do with your accounts, man. Because Jake, you don't deal with barns and food and a storehouse, man. You deal with your checking account. Then you got your savings. Then you got another account open over here. Jake said, I got an account overseas, man. I put this money over here and this money in my retirement fund. I'm gonna open up this account. You got that same spirit as this brother, man. Right? And there's nothing wrong with moving your money in righteousness to take care of yourself and your family, but this is about a covetous spirit. and hoping that this could save you, man. This money and this world could save you. That's what the Lord is going against, right? Let me read verse 18, Luke 12 and 18. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. And a lot of brothers start taking their ease, man. Start taking your foot off the gas, right? And start getting comfortable. Eating and drinking with the drunken and being merry based off of the ground, bringing forth plentifully to you. And the Lord will give you a lot, man, to see what you're going to do with it. A lot of brothers, when you get a lot, you start taking your ease, eating and drinking in the world because the Most High is giving you plenty, right? Verse 20. But the Most High said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? Yeah, who are these? When your money all locked up, man? All of that time you spent breaking the Shabbat, all of that time you spent working triple overtime, right? When you really didn't even need the money, you just wanted to go on a trip or do this, man. When you could have been reading or doing the work of the Most High, you know. Now what you going to do? That's what the Lord is saying. He asked, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward the Most High, man. Right? So you heaping up all this money, they lock your account. Now what you going to do, brother? Right? Hey, the Lord said, give us this day our daily bread, man. Solomon said, feed me with food convenient for me. Right? So, you know, you don't want to invest your life into this because they're going to shut this whole thing down. Right? Brothers got it.
Con. And I want to touch on that quick point too. Hey, the love of money is the root of all evil. So once you start putting your trust in money, and money change people's attitudes, man. You get your check, you smiling, you laughing, you joking, you in a good mood, right? You want to go out on the town, right? It changes your spirit, man. And that's off. Right? The Lord said, now I don't gotta necessarily get it, but I mean, if you fear the Lord, you're gonna always be in the spirit, man.
Right.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26. But I want to get this quick precept right in Judges, and I'm gonna read it out of the NLT. Right? It says, this is Judges chapter 17 and 1 in the NLT. It says, there was a man named Michael who lived in the hill country of Ephraim. One day he said to his mother, I heard you placed a curse on the persons who stole 1,100 pieces of silver from you. Well, I have the money, and I was the one who took it. Right? Money will make you steal from your mother. The Lord bless you for admitting it. His mother replied. He returned the money to her, and she said, I now dedicated these silver coins to the Lord in honor of my son, and I will have an image carved and an idol cast. Right? So, I mean, money will make you rob your mother, make you rob your son, put spirits in the house. I mean, that's all in the scriptures. The parable the brother just read, the love of money is the root of all evil, right? 1 Timothy chapter 6, right? Verse 10 all the way down, right? The Lord said in the book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 12, then Isaac sowed in the land, meaning he worked hard, and received the same year in 100-fold. And Isaac wasn't praying for riches. There's no account that, you know, he craved these things. Whatever he put in and he sold, the Lord fed him. The Lord blessed him. He gave him 100-fold. And you sow into the Most High is going to give that back to you. You give to the poor, you give alms, right? You're innocent and blameless, and you live a life, right? An image after Yahushua, the Lord's going to give you 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For we have possessions of flocks, possessions of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. So all the things that Isaac obtained, the Most High gave to him. He didn't hoard it up right in the land by all heathens and be corrupted by riches. So you want to just have a mental mind note that no matter what happens, what you sowing in now as far as your works, the Most High is going to feed you in the last days and take care of you. Right? Brothers got it.
God, I'm gonna find that article too, Lord willing, because they actually had hearings that the Treasury had, where the Treasury and the United States Department of the Treasury, where they were bringing out suggestions that banks actually trigger a red flag on people that are into certain religious and political beliefs, right? So people that are into hate groups, or like the January riots they had at the Capitol building, and people that coerce particular behavior. A lot of hearings going on right now behind the scenes, and I'm gonna pull it up, a little bit more articles on it, but they're actually saying they're monitoring people's transactions. So if you're in a hate group, they're seeing what you're buying. If you're buying this, you're buying that. Certain things are going to be affiliated with weapons of domestic terrorism, and domestic terrorism, what's what I'm looking for? Paraphernalia, right? And propaganda, and you're going to be caught out there, man. Bibles, apocryphas, maybe certain hats, Make America Great Again hats, or whatever type of what they deem paraphernalia, if that's the appropriate word, of hate groups, man. Like if you go out and you buy a damn KKK flag, hey, they'll flag that, man. Hey, what the hell are you getting into, right? Or the hood, rather. So they're starting to look at this stuff, man. The banks are kind of looking at this stuff, and they're looking at who's in their watch list, and they're starting putting two and two together. So we're going to read a little of this, right? So it says, Financial Crimes Agency suggests banks close accounts of conservative hate groups, right? Now, this is an independent article. It says, is it a financial crime to allow a conservative Christian to open a bank account? The very idea sounds absurd, but in the wake of the January 6, 2021, the federal agency tasked with protecting the financial system from illicit use endorsed the list of hate groups that includes mainstream conservative Christian organizations like Alliance Defending Freedom and the Family Research Council. The Treasury's Department Financial Crimes Enforcement Network sent an email to leadership at major banks, and this was going on. That they have these hearings going on, right? So we got to keep watch, because this stuff is going on every day. Let me read this again. The Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network sent an email to leadership at major banks highlighting a report from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue and Global Disinformation Index titled, quote unquote, Bankrolling Bigotry, an overview of the online funding strategies of American hate groups, right? So if they think you buying stuff for your hate group, they'll shut it down, right? They will actually shut it down. Now, I want to jump down a little bit, right? Because they include, I believe in this article, here it is, right? The Bankrolling Bigotry report included all these organizations and more on a list alongside white nationalists, white supremacists, black supremacists. That's what they label you Israelites are, right? You are black supremacists in their eyes. And Holocaust denial groups. Like they're getting on Candace Owens as we speak. She had that conversation with the rabbi, right? And they're gonna do something to her, man. God forbid, but they're starting to crack down on this stuff. Readers of the Daily Signal may not be surprised to hear that the Institute for Strategic Dialogue and Global Disinformation Index took the idea from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Right? You got it, King.
That's the spirit. I was going to bring that up. They're going to grab these list of hate groups from that website, which is titled the Southern Poverty Law Center. And for those who may not know, I don't know if you want to bring it up, but these are people that Israel knows. Yeah, I'll say it, we're on there, right? It's us. amongst many other so-called hate groups, right? It's us. We're on there. I was gonna pull up something else as well after this, or that ties into this, which is very similar. This dude made a point on how Amalek had boats, and he tweeted it. And the community notes, they took it down. They said, well, look, this seems to be an aggression or malicious words against another certain group of people. And it's not really accurate according to history. And so they took it down completely. So, you know, the days are nigh, the days are coming, and the days are very close at hand, where all those who may be wearing fringes, you know, a head wrap, have a Bible in your hand, where they persecute you. We're a few days away from it just saying Israelites instead of hate groups, just Israelites. It all builds up. And censorship is nothing new under the sun. There's censorship in Maccabees, there's censorship in Romans, there was censorship being done in Daniel, right? Censorship is nothing but for pretty much prohibiting you from magnifying the name of the Lord. Or at least that is, you know, with us in its truth. With that, I yield.
Khan, I want to get this quick precept, right? And that's prophecy. That's how you know this Bible is real, right? It's the mighty book of Revelation, chapter 12, and verse number 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, right? And all of his lies, all of his sorcery, right? Everything that he has put, right, to trip us up, manipulate us, overthrow us, right, is all of those waters, right? That's going to try to have us to be carried away of the flood. It says, and the earth helped the woman, right? All the artifacts, the research, the understanding, the historians, right? All the research, things are being brought to life. What's going on in the earth? The earth has helped the woman, right? I mean, it's a lot of things that, right, so-called, when you go into it, they have many books the Most High put on the spirit of certain scholars to make, Bible dictionaries, and things are being brought to light that we never knew, right? We have the internet for us, right? And that's spreading the truth like wildfire. Our brothers have cell phones. You could get on Twitter right now, follow the right people, and you can know what's going on in the world in a snap of a finger. That's the earth helping a woman, right? We don't live in these third world countries, right? We don't have their news channels, but yet the men and women of the Lord has made it accessible for you to know what's going on in the earth. It says, the earth hath helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Right? Meaning everything that we have known to be true has swallowed up all of the lies and sorcery. This is the point. And the dragon was wroth. Why was he wroth? Because he knew that everything he was spitting, his lies, his fire, his sorcery, was a damn lie, man. And he got wroth. Meaning you're not drinking of that poison in that cup any longer, man. You're waking up. And once somebody starts to wake up after you have been drugging them, right, and going off, right, they're going to be wroth. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. Why is he wroth? Because we're no longer under his spell, man. We're waking up out of sleep. We're sobering up. We're drinking the water, which is of Yahushua, and put down the wine, which is of Babylon, which the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So war is coming to us. And when the Lord says war, that's not talking about something small. That's the whole earth. Everywhere where Israel is, you're going to be hunted. War is serious, man. And we don't have a government, right? We don't have any military might. All we're going to have is faith. And did not the Lord say take the shield of faith, right? And faith is very important, man. Well, if you have faith, you'll be able to block off and be able, right, to sustain everything that's coming against you. It says make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua. And we know what the testimony of Yahushua is. It's the spirit of prophecy. So if you're in prophecy and you're under the testimony of Yahushua, you're going to be hunted. And the testimony of Yahushua is not clapping your hands and stomping your feet in a Christian church. Meaning when you're uncovering things that are going to happen on the earth, you're going into these mans and you casting down everything that this man stands for and telling you, right, his downfall before his eyes. He's going to hunt you and call it hate speech. What you got? You going to mute, King.
Oh, Salakia. All right, let me pull this up real quick. Now, this is actually some of the footage of the congressional of their little hearing that they had with the House. And it says the House investigates Treasury for flagging American bank transactions. Now that's illegal. They're putting it out there. You can't do that. You need a warrant. You need, probable cause. You need all of that. So there's a big now it's 2 hours. We're not going to pull 2 hours, but I was able to kind of skim through a little bit, and we're going to play about a minute, maybe a minute and a half of it. So let me pull this up about what's going on and behind the scenes, man. So they're working mischief and putting wicked decrees pursuant to Isaiah chapter 10 and 1. Right? Isaiah 10 and 1 on down actually speaks explicitly against the so-called white man and his laws and what he stands for, man. Right? So let me play this real quick. All right, brother should be able to see the screen. Hold on, wait. Let me actually go back. All right, Salaki, let me put this up. All right, bear with me. So we're going to play this. Now, this is what they're going into behind the scenes. Now, this is from what, 11 days ago, right? 11 days ago, while Jake is sitting around watching God knows what on the television, man. All right, you got things going on behind the scenes. So we're gonna play this. Now, we didn't watch the whole thing. I was only skimmed a little bit, so I heard a little bit of what he's going to say, right? But it sounds like the same thing that we're going into, right? So this is the House investigates Treasury for flagging American bank transactions. And they're looking at our transactions, man. How many Bibles did this guy buy? What Israelite websites are selling garments? Who's selling apocryphers? Who's making staffs? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? You know? They uncover all this stuff. The Lord said there is no secret that he can hide from thee, man. And Ezekiel 28 and 3. Hold on. You see that? Right? Because they don't believe us. And this is fair use. They don't believe us. Even Mr. Tedesco, right? The Edomite and the Roman Council, he said that banks are increasing data collection to see what the people are buying, man. The hate groups are getting it. Go ahead, King.
It said there's no sound.
There's no sound?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Right, y'all can't hear it?
I can hear you.
No, what about the video? You can't hear the video?
I will have to hear it again.
Is it playing?
All right, hold on. Let me go back. See that? Hold on. All right, you see that? Let's go back. They probably said these Negroes they're diving too deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
Enough was enough. All right, let's see. What about now? Let's see. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
La.
Can't hear it?
La.
All right, well, we're gonna have to go old school, right? So we see what's going on. We was able to play everything else when it came to Jake. Now, hold on. I'm gonna have to go old school and just play it off the phone. So check this out.
And banks that are too big. Part of these benefits, the top 5 banks control over 50% of the market for deposit accounts. This only elevates the need to ensure viewpoint neutrality and the provision of financial services. Congress should take action. This is an issue that we should all agree on and deserves our utmost attention. We cannot continue to let law enforcement, regulators, and banks that are too big to fail run roughshod over our First Amendment freedoms. I welcome your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Mr. Michelle, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Good morning, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Plaskett, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify at today's hearing. I'm Norbert Michel, Vice President and Director for Cato's Center for Monetary and Financial Alternatives.
He about to go into it.
Express today in this testimony are mine. They should not be construed as representing any official position of the Cato Institute. In my testimony, I argue that it is long past the time for Congress to reaffirm Americans' constitutional rights that guarantee an expectation of financial privacy, particularly those secured by the Fourth Amendment.
So he's saying y'all need to stop
the anti-money laundering framework that the government has developed around it are unnecessary, wasteful, and harmful. Typical American is not a terrorist, a criminal, or a tax cheat, and does not want to among such an American does, however, recognize that the Constitution protects all Americans from unreasonable persecution and limitless invasions of privacy.
Hold on, he said so. That's unlimitless persecution and invasion of privacy. The Constitution protects you from that. Now let's play this. He about to get into it.
Three main points of my position. First, Congress might have passed the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970. It was a much broader bill than the legislation that its original sponsor promised to deliver, and its relationship to the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution was controversial enough to spur several legal challenges, two of which ended in split decisions at the U.S. Supreme Court during the 1970s. Further, the bill was so controversial that it spurred Congress to pass multiple bills, including the Right to Financial Privacy Act, just 8 years after passing the Bank Secrecy Act. It did so with the explicit intent of countering the very financial surveillance that the Bank Secrecy Act itself created. Unfortunately, the 1978 bill was so watered down with 20 different exceptions that it failed to live up to its name. As a result, financial institutions remain responsible for both record-keeping and reporting requirements, and law enforcement has the authority to obtain Americans' financial records without first obtaining a valid search warrant.
See that?
The so-called third-party doctrine, born largely out of those Supreme Court decisions in the 1970s, excuses this legal status by effectively claiming that bank customers have no expectation of privacy from the government once they give their information to the bank. Much like the dissenting justices of those cases, I believe this logic defies all reasoning. There is simply no sphere of our lives that would remain free of government involvement, surveillance, and control if it were taken seriously. Second, the agencies themselves have failed to demonstrate how the Bank Secrecy Act regime provides a net benefit, and it has merely created an information overload for federal agencies through excessive reporting. In 2022, for instance, financial institutions were required to file over 26 million reports with the federal government on customer activity.
See that?
And even though it's been decades since the first suspicious activity report was filed, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network still cannot provide data that explains how law enforcement even uses those reports. These 2 points are just the tip of the iceberg. Difficult as it may be to believe, we're from $7 million to $107.
So we're not going to play the whole thing. But the point is, they have over 20 million reports about what people, alleged threats to the American government, terrorists, hate groups, people that are into these religious so-called cults and political extremists. They're monitoring what you're buying. They're monitoring what you're spending. They're monitoring what you have in your account, right? And that's why it leads back to what we were bringing out. Well, let me put this back up. That's why they're bringing out, is going to get to this point, right? Let me share this again, right? Where it says Federal Financial Crimes Agency suggests banks close accounts of conservative hate groups. And that's all part of that these hearings that are going on. They're talking about, are we really going to do this? And a lot of people say, yeah, we're going to do it. And they're inching closer and closer. You're not going to be able to make transactions if you're part of a hate group, or you're part of the Israelite movement, and you're going to be shut out of society and you're going to be caught out there. Right? But brothers got it.
That's right. And that goes back to 2nd Ezra chapter 16, right, in verse number 7. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." And they're going to destroy us many ways, man. And a lot of brothers and sisters are going to die in this thing, man. But everybody is not going to live the lot to see the Lord in the end, right? You're going to have a lot of people martyred, a lot of people killed unjustly. It will have to be prophecy, because those are the spirits that are going to be crying to the Lord in Revelation, the 6th chapter, right? Saying to avenge our blood, right? Let me get that real fast. So, I mean, it's going to be a massive slaying and slaughter that's going to be upon the earth, right? By this man chasing us down and hunting us. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse number 5. I'm going to start it on 9, Salaki. "And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God." Right? And the altar is where you do sacrifices at. The Lord said under the altar, right, are going to be the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. Right? Meaning they didn't bow down to the society when things get hot. And things are going to get hot, man. The things we're dealing with right now, that's light work. Right? It says, "And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" Right? So, I mean, everybody's not going to live to see, right, the Lord upon the earth. They're going to be killed, man, and slaughtered as a lamb brought to the slaughter. Right? So when the Lord said in 2nd Ezra 16 and verse number 71, that they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. But they shall waste and take away their goods. Their goods is their money,
right?
Their family, their clothing, everything that you possess. The Lord said the enemy is going to take it away from you, man. That's not just talking about in that day, martial law, they beat on your door, they ravish your house, man. No, they're going to start taking everything from you. And the man that's not truly in the palm of the Most High's hand is going to start questioning things. And the more understanding you have in the scriptures, the more you be able to understand the will of the Most High. The less you know of the scriptures, the more you'll question. What precept was that? I thought I was supposed to get beamed up when all hell broke loose. And thought the angels were supposed to be. I thought the Lord would feed me. Right? The more you read, the more you're going to understand the will of the Most High and the different lots of Israel in the last days. You're going to have Israel that see the Lord, that stand before the Lord. You're going to have Israel that's taken away, right, and slaughtered. Right? A lot of people want to be martyred. People going to be in guillotine camps. A lot of people, they're going to be on the run. Right? They're going to be in the wilderness, like Mattathias and his sons. So it's going to be different. Everybody going to have to drink of a different cup. So once you start reading these different lots and understanding the will of the Most High, that's going to happen to his servants in the last days. However your lot, you understand the Most High have it to play out, you're going to understand what you ought to do in those days. It says, read that again, 72. "But they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." So they're going to take everything from you, man. And money isn't truly ours if you have to contact somebody to get it, man. What if they shut the phone down? What if the banks close? Right? I tried to use my card, 3 weeks ago, whatever the case may be. They're talking about bank fraud, man. Right now you have to identify who you are. Right? I'm trying to explain these people that is my money. Now I got to persuade these people to let me use my money, man. So what's your mother's maiden name? What's your last bank statement? I'm getting harassed just to use my own money. And if it's like this now, think about when all hell break loose, man. The elites are going to ravish all of the wealth, right, and lay it up for themselves while everybody else is going to be by themselves. Right? That's just Bible prophecy. You got it, Ken.
Come. And I want to get a quick precept, right? This is Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 32. Right? It reads, "But call to remembrance the former days, in which after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions." So this is the apostle writing to the church and saying, once you become illuminated, Meaning, once you become full of light, once you come into the knowledge of the Most High, you have to endure a great fight of afflictions. That's spiritual afflictions. You may have physical infirmities and physical afflictions, financial afflictions, man. Having all of your goods taken away. And that happened back then. We're about to read that. Partly, whilst ye were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst they became companions of them that were so used. For ye had compassion of me and my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that you have in heaven a better and an enduring substance. So they was getting robbed back then, man, by the Romans. And the Lord said that church, they took joyfully the spoiling of their goods, man, because they knew that they have a better and enduring substance in heaven, man. See, a lot of brothers, when this stuff really go down, you're going to be all bent out of shape, man, because you forget about the substance and the riches where moth and rust don't corrupt, man. You forgot about all of that. All of the labor that you have done in this truth, all of the prayers and all of the teaching and the brotherly love and the charity, you're going to forget about all of your spiritual bank account. And you're going to be vexed to death, and you're going to lose faith, thinking that you're not going to be able to make things happen for yourself, your household, your family, or whatever the case may be, huh? Because you're too preoccupied in this realm and in this world, but you're not thinking about the world to come. See, the brothers back then, our forefathers, they were a lot different. They took things cheerfully, man. The apostles got beaten, Acts 5 and 40 on down, and they got up rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer a shame for the name of the Lord, man. Right? When Tobit had his goods and his woman and his son forcibly taken away from him, you know, and he got it back, man. Hey, guess what? The book of Hebrews is telling you that these things happened back then. I just read the precept. It's going to happen all over again, huh? Right? Let me read on. Actually, let me read that one more time. Hebrews 10 and 34. For ye had compassion of me and my bonds. So they was checking on the apostle when he was locked up, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and an enduring substance, man. Right? So it's telling you right here, man. Another independent article, the feds gave bank tools to shut down your accounts if you buy guns or Bibles. So they're getting into this thing, man. Right? You're going to go to that ATM machine, like brother saying, you're going to stick in that card, and that blue light might turn red, man. And it might be a damn siren. Alert, 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 alert. Bank has identified a known terrorist. It's going to flash on the damn phones. People get notified. You got a terrorist near you, and this thing might heat up, man. Well, it will heat up. Not might, it will heat up. Now, I'm going to read this first paragraph. It reads, or the first two. Federal agencies gave banks automated censorship tools to flag as possible domestic terrorists any Americans who buy Bibles or support the enforcement of immigration law, says testimony today before a House committee. Federal agencies are funding tools for the financial sector, similar to those social media is using to target misinformation and hate speech, says written testimony from Jeremy Tedesco. So when you watch that video we played earlier, you'll find him saying that, right? Senior counsel at the nonprofit First Amendment law firm Alliance Defending Freedom. Unfortunately, this is the tip of the iceberg, right? So things are heating up, man. Things are heating up, right? It even tell you in Revelation, man, right? That no man might buy nor sell, right? So people that are buying the things of this world and that are in this world, they're going to be okay. But the men of the Lord, man, you're going to be caught out there, right? If you don't accept this man's philosophies, if you don't love America, right? Because again, they know they have a registered list of you, and they'll shut you down, man. Your whole system, they'll shut it down and say, this guy's in this group, he's in that group, he's in that camp, CIA, they know he's over here, shut them all down. It's over, right? And guess what, man? Now you can say, hey, look, I'm not part of that. You know, I'm not into that or whatever. They already got you listed, man. You got to deal with it, right? You're in too deep, right? You got brothers, well, I'm going to just delete my YouTube account. I'm out of here. I didn't know it was this serious. Well, this truth is deadly serious, man. And the Lord said, let me get one more real quick in Revelation chapter 12, right? This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 11, right? Revelation 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Meaning you have to be willing to die for this truth, man. Not just have your goods taken away. You have to confess the name of Yahweh Bashmel Shai and stand stiffly for the name of the Lord, man. Because things are going to get bad, man. You're going to get fired from your job. They're going to pull you up. We didn't know that this was you. You're going to get persecuted. They're going to shut accounts down. This is happening already, man. But brothers got it.
Khan is right.
I was going to get this precept. Can brothers hear me?
Khan.
Okay, I was going to get this quick precept in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 5, where it says, well, I'll start at verse 3. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. And it may be your wisdom to provide and get as much money as you can. But it's beautiful that the brother brought out that parable of that man using his wisdom, right? Thinking it's wise to gather up all that money, storing it in barns, storing up all the shotguns, all the Glocks, all the Uzis, right? You may think that's wise, right? However, the Lord says cease from it. Cease from the things that you may think that's profitable for your life. I just seen a video, a man had like over 200 guns. You can't even carry all of that. There's no bag that you can carry all those guns. You might accidentally shoot yourself trying to grab one. He had like 200. Verse 5, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. And bring this out for exhortation, right? To help Israel understand you can't rely upon dollars, Benjamins. You can't rely upon these things to, deliver you from turmoil and persecution. There's no way anywhere on this earth that money can, deliver you. Only the Most High can. Money didn't deliver the Israelites in Exodus. Money didn't deliver Paul when he was in prison. Money didn't deliver Daniel. Money doesn't deliver you. The Most High delivers you. And so you got to be weary and remove and cease from that mentality of getting your money, getting that coins. Now, that's no way, shape, form, or fashion of saying quit your jobs now. But, of course, you want to use wisdom. On the right-hand side, be discreet and be circumspect, but don't expect money to deliver you. It ain't going to happen. Jake might be running to the bank right now or local, wherever, to get all their money out. It's not going to benefit you.
Khan.
With that, I
Look
guess.
at this quick precept. All right, this is the mighty book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse number 14. It says, and judgment is turned away backwards, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the streets, and equality entered, so like it cannot enter. It says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. So if you depart from evil, the Lord said you make yourself a target. You make yourself a prey. A prey is an animal. You got an apex predator, and then you have the prey, man. Lord said once you start keeping truth and depart from wickedness, then you're up for grabs. Up for grabs by who? The eagle, man. The apex predator that likes to feed on blood and watch afar off from on high. Right? The Lord said, yeah, and truth faileth, and he that departed from evil. When you start keeping the commandments, right? You say no when he says yes, right? You start to stand up for the Most High. If you depart from all of the things that he stands for, it says, maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. There's going to be no judgment in this land until Yahweh Shai sets judgment in this land by the hand of Yahweh Shai and the judges and the rulers that are coming back on the earth. This man's society doesn't have any judgment, man. Right? It's nothing but respect the persons of the rich, the wealthy, right? And the Edomites and the different nations. There's no judgment of what's true, right, in this land. So you got to keep that in your mind. Once you depart from evil, then you're up for grabs, man. And not just up for grabs, you understand, by these nations, but the spiritual demon Satan. You're going to be attacked. The Lord said, if thou comest to serve the Lord, let me get that real fast. Prepare thy soul for temptation. That's one of the first precepts a lot of brothers and/or sisters, right, learn coming into this truth. Because you're going to get hit by a lot of things. It's Sirach chapter 2 and verse number 1. My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, meaning the Lord is preparing you of what you're about to get yourself into. Prepare thy soul for temptation. He didn't say prepare thy soul for honor and glory and laughter and mirth and joy, right, and feast days. The chief thing you have to prepare for is temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. And don't make haste to things that aren't going to help you, right? Swords, weaponry, this society, the spiritual demon Satan, a bottle, right? Your own mentality. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. And that's going to be hard when everything you have is stripped from you. The Lord said, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Because everything through patience has an increase. You know, the Lord puts a seed down in the earth, he waters it, here's the increase. Right? You have a child, right? The child grows up, the Spirit of the Most High resonates with that child, and over time he's teaching, he's reading. Everything through patience is going to have an increase. Right? So we have to be patient in a time of affliction that we may yield all of the promises that the Most High gave us. You got it.
Now I want to pull this up real quick. Now, this is from 2 years ago, right? Right. Let me pull this up real quick. Now, this is this goes back to the time of the pestilence. Right? Now it says let's see. This is it right here. Now check this out. This is from BBC.com, right? This is from 2 years ago. And you know, they have more strict laws in Canada concerning free speech too, but Trudeau vows to freeze anti-mandate protesters' bank account. So they already got this thing going on in the other countries, man. Press that button, it's over for you. They don't have to ask you any questions. They know who you are. You can't hide from the so-called white man, man. Right? He doesn't have to ask you, what do you believe in? He knows you, man. A lot of people, how are they going to know what I believe in? How do they know? Are they going to ask you? They know you, man. They're watching you. They know when you're at Walmart. They say, well, how did you like Walmart today? Do you want to rate it 5 stars? Do you want to turn your location on? Do you want to enable this? Here, we see you here. We notice that your volume has been too loud today. Your screen time has been way too much. What are you doing? Right? So they're all up in your business, man. So they'll just shut you down and you're going to be caught out there. Right? Now, we have maybe 1 or 2 more things, because I mean, there's a lot going on in the earth, man. Right? Now, Vladimir Putin warns of full-scale World War III if Western troops enter Ukraine. So this guy won the election, and all hell is breaking loose, man. France, they said they want to send troops. America, they said he might send troops. So you got more talks of World War III. He said Vladimir Putin warns of full-scale World War III if Western troops enter Ukraine. Then you had China, right? China that came out and said, we're ready to intervene if U.S. and NATO attack Russia. So this thing is heating up, man. You got famine of the word. You got World War III. What else we got? You got riots. You got civil unrest. You got earthquakes. You got protests. You got a lot going on in the earth, man. A lot of prophecies are unfolding in the earth. right? And I want to get one precept just to touch on that, right? Just to touch on China, World War III, US, NATO. This thing is going to get big, man. Right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. So the so-called white man, through his propaganda, his media, witchcraft, and sorcery, he's stirring up NATO and all these nations to get ready for World War III, man. Right? Because they need war. Right? War is a moneymaker. They're looking to enforce their new world order. So they want all of these nations to get involved in this thing, man. Right? So these big elite illuministic bankers could make more money and reset the stage according to the way that they want to set it, man. Right? So World War III is also on a rise. And the Lord says that these kings, these are kings right now. These are the modern day kings of the East. Gog and Magog of Russia. You know, you have one of the kings of the East of China. And he said, hey, look, man, we're ready to intervene. So they're strong allies, and this thing is going to get big, man. Right? But brothers got it.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 26, right? In verse number 19. It says, for thus saith the Lord God, when I shall make thee a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon thee, and the great waters shall cover thee, when I shall bring thee down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time. Right? The Lord's going to bring down America just like the people of old time, just like the Greece Empire, just like the Roman Empire, right? Just like the Egyptian Empire and all of these different empires. The Lord's going to bring them down just like he did before. It said, and shall set thee in the low parts of the earth, and places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that thou be not inhabited, and I will set thy glory in the land of the living. I will make thee a terror, and thou shalt be no more. Though thou be sought for, yet shalt thou never be found again, saith the Lord God. Right? And it's a lot of prophecies. When you read the book of Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, yeah, it's going into the Babylonian exile and the captivity and things like that, but it's twofold. A lot of these things that you read about in Ezekiel, right, are twofold. It's going into America. It's going into destruction of World War III and vengeance of the Most High. Right, and the Most High uses, right, double to that which is, to show you how this America that's been prophesied all the way from the times of old, the Lord is going to destroy it. When you read Zephaniah, right, and all of the major and minor prophets is going into the destruction. Now you had a physical Nineveh, a physical Babylon, right, a physical Assyrian captivity, right, but nevertheless, there's certain things that you read about in Isaiah that's never came to pass. Ezekiel that's never came to pass. Jeremiah. And when you read these things, right, the Lord is telling you all throughout the Bible how he's a man of war, how he's going to destroy America. Right? Everything that you read is a drum roll up to World War III and the destruction and the stage set. Now, the way things are kicking off now, right, it's only a matter of time before somebody invades a land and or shoots, right, a missile, right, to invade somebody's territory for World War III to kick off. And if that Article 5, right, and everything going into NATO, and when these things kick off, right, I mean, all hell is going to be breaking loose in the cities and in the streets, right? And one thing you got to watch out for that you, Jake, got to be strong in, and when they start drafting brothers, right, you're going to get that piece of paper in the mail, right? You have now been drafted in the U.S. Army, right? We need you to deport in the next 48 hours. We will give you instructions, right? And however they put it, right? You have 48 hours to make a decision. Right? Are you going to go fight in this man's war? Are you going to risk your life to survive, right, in this society? Or are you going to stand strong for the Most High? And people are going to get locked up for that, man. Right? You're going to be looked at as man, how do they look at you, man? Like a hater, an enemy of the state, because you're not fighting for your nation, right? You're not gonna be able to get hired anywhere, right? And then everybody's gonna look down at you. They have when you leave the army, I believe it's called AWOL. You can correct me if I'm wrong, King.
Yes, AWOL, absent
Yeah, when you leave, and they may invent something when you don't go to war, man. Call it damn AWOL. It's the new AWOL, right? And they kind of mock your name and put all type of dust and dirt on it in the days to come, right? And you can't figure out how to find a job or survive because you're not helping your country, right? These nations, they're gonna create all type of sorcery to set their hand right against you in all type of ways, financially, make you an enemy of the state, make you hate it, right? They'll make it to where you can't get a job. So this thing is going to get hard to live out here, man. And when it says, I'm gonna get the classic, in First Maccabees, when our fathers have fled into the wilderness, I mean, it's plain. They left all that they had. This First Maccabees, right? Chapter 2 and verse number 27. It says, and Mattathias cried throughout with the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. And that should go to show you one thing, that you don't have the amount of time you think you have. Because Mattathias, it was on. It was go time. It ain't time to think. It ain't time to pack. Ain't time to really get your thoughts together, because your thoughts should have already been together. Whatever you're going to do right now, 9 times out of 10 is what you're going to do tomorrow and the next day. If you have the mind frame and the thoughts and the understanding of what's coming, you have to prepare your mind mentally what it is that you're going to do. You don't want to be frantic in those days. It says, so he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. And that's going into people too. Because, you might have people in your house, friends, whatever the case may be, brethren that you've tried to warn. You got to leave everything. Everything has to be left. And it's going to take a strong man that's not giving his mind over to emotions to be able to do that. A lot of people too emotional. The Lord said a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject. Right? It should be that simple. The Lord said, let the dead bury the dead. It kind of is what it is. Right? So when these days start to come, the Lord even said he's going to put the spirit on man to wax cold, man. Right? Let me get that real fast in Matthew chapter 24. So the spirit is going to be placed on you whether you want to or not to move like that. Right? This is the mighty book of Matthew chapter 24. Right? And I'm going to start at 10. It says, and then shall many be offended. When are many going to be offended? When verse 9 hits. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. It was all cool and fun when you were shaking the hand. It was all cool and fun when the nations were bowing down to you. It was all cool and fun when you logged in and seen the videos, right? You got your popcorn and this is TV type of spirit, right? And I'm going to praise my favorite prophet, right? And the Lord said, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. And affliction isn't something that anybody wants to go through. And shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Meaning every nation that the Lord has created is going to hate you. They're going to hate you because spiritually they know, right, that you're above them when this word starts to hit the streets, and they know what you're coming to do. When the word Israelite comes, they're not going to think of Moses and Elijah and Daniel. They're going to think of a nigger that thinks he's better than all the other nations, right, that's coming to put all of the other nations to slavery. This word, they're going to take bits and pieces of it, manipulate it, take cuts, and use it all for the mass media, right, to come against you. They're not going to know the Most High's will, the precepts, the commandments. They're not going to know what the Most High has ordained from old. They're going to see clips of you shaking your hand, getting on Esau, and they're only going to see the things that through the strong aren't be able to bear. It says, and then shall many be offended. So the offended part of the gospel is coming too. And it may be, millions of Israelites right now in the truth. But when the Lord starts trimming the fat, it's going to trickle down to hundreds of thousands, to the 144,000. These numbers are going to start going down because the Lord said, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. Jumping down to verse 10, and then shall many could be 100,000. Many could be 1,000,000. It's going to be a lot of people falling off the truth or leaving the Most High. It says, be offended and shall betray one another, meaning they're going to do whatever it takes to survive. Betraying one another is delivering you up and it's betraying you and everything you have. He don't need this. I need that. Right? You're going to betray your own brother for clothing and food. It says, and shall hate one another. So all that, how about Shemiah, all that's going to go out the window to these Negroes that are offended in the Most High. They're going to think and praise the spiritual demon Satan. And they're going to hate their own brother and become murderers in the last days. Right? It says, verse 12 is the point. It says, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. It's the point. And because iniquity shall abound, meaning all the things that are on earth are going to be happening at a vast rate. It's going to be hard to be spiritual. Yells, screams, breaking in places. Right? I mean, Jake is hard to keep the commandments when you were at college. When you were still in high school. Smoke this. Let's go to this party. All this peer pressure. Think what all this iniquity shall abound. The love of many shall wax cold. And that waxing cold and that spirit is going to happen on earth, man. And Jake is not going to be as loving and compassionate as he once was if he's not in the spirit in the last days to love his brother. What happened with Tobit? Tobit was burying the dead. So when the times of iniquity abounded with Tobit, the times of killing and persecution was going on with Tobit, Tobit abounded in righteousness. He didn't abound in coldness and hatred, right? He did the most High's work. So that just goes to show you with these accounts that we read about the two type of spirits that you're going to be on the earth. You got it.
Yeah. That's why you have World War III on the rise. And even these nations, a lot of them are going to become cold against one another, man. Right? You have the European Union. They're going to break off from Babylon the Great. You're going to have Russia. They're going to be cold against some of their former allies. And eventually, once these bombs begin to drop off the earth, that's the end all be all. That's the end all be all. It's no woulda, shoulda, couldas, man. It's no damn, man. If only I had, 10 more days. If only, man, I would have took the truth serious. I was sitting around and I was kind of just waiting for something to happen. You can't have that attitude, man. Because these prophecies, you see things are happening quick. And things are happening when you don't even know they're happening, man. You got congressional hearings and the it's like your meetings going on with the Senate and the Treasury about what's going on and how they're watching you. There's a lot more even beyond that in high places and councils to help get this thing pushing, man, on the left-hand side. Well, I want to get a quick precept on this account with China and Babylon and Russia, right? Jeremiah 51 and 28, right? Jeremiah 51 and 28. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. Now, the modern day Medes are your modern day Russians. The Medes actually took down the ancient Babylonians, or the Persians and Medes. They took down the Babylonians, man, right? Around 539 BC. Really, the Persians took them down and had the Medes under them. But the Medes are going to take down modern day Babylon. Now, your modern day Median Empire is your modern day Russia, right? The land of the north. You understand? Or the north quarters of the north countries. And the nations of the kings and the Medes are all of Russia's allies, man. Your modern day CTSO, your collective treaty security organization, right? And you have BRICS, which is more of a political alliance. And you have the Shanghai Corporation organization, which is China, Russia, and a lot of their allies, man. Right? And this is in wake of Sweden joining NATO. Right? Finland is getting involved. So this thing is going to escalate. Somebody press one button and they move wrong one way. It's over, man. It's over. Right? And you got these two men shaking hands and It says this comes as the Intergovernmental Military Alliance and Moscow are at odds since Sweden officially joined NATO earlier this month, right? So you got World War III, like the brother said, you're going to have people getting persecuted, right? You're going to have a famine of the word, right? Power grid may go out, electricity shut in the streets, the sound of the grinding is low. This society is decaying, man. And if you're not under the protection of the Most High, then you need to get under the protection of the Most High by repenting, praying, applying these scriptures, reading, studying, fasting, begging for mercy, man. Praying that the Lord don't take the Holy Spirit away from you and praying for more faith, man, because that faith is going to drive you in the days to come, man. You're going to see things you never saw before. You're going to hear screams you never heard before. We're never going to be put in the situation like the situation that's to come, huh? Right? This Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, right? Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the hour of temptation is coming. It's not actual 60 minutes. Don't set your timer, man. It means a time of affliction. The Lord said he's going to destroy Babylon in 1 hour, right? It doesn't mean an actual hour. It just means a brief period of time. So we're going to go through a period of time of turmoil, destruction. And while we're going through that, being persecuted, you're going to have World War III happening as well, right? So you have to gird yourself up and you keep your loins girded and your lights burning, right? And be like that servant that waits for his Lord, pursuing Luke, the 12th chapter. Right, brothers got it.
I'm going to bring this out too. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse number 7. Right? It says, and to the angel of the church of Philadelphia, right? These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David that openeth, and no man shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. But thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. So, I mean, when it really all boils down, it's not going to boil down to how much knowledge you know, or how many prophecies you know. And the Lord said, I know thy works. He knows your spirit, what spirit you're in. Right? He knows if you really want to give alms, if you really love your brother, what type of works that you do behind closed doors. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. But thou hast a little strength. And a little strength is going into the faith that you have in the Most High. You believe in the Most High, that the Most High is, that all the prophecies and the things that you read about and the safety that the Most High is going to have you in the last days, that he will do. You have a little strength in the works. But that don't mean that you have to be the mightiest man. There are going to be a lot of children, and they don't believe much. It's like they don't remember much of the Bible, but they believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They believe in the commandments. They remember the account of Noah, right? They remember the account, right, of Elijah calling fire. That they believe these things. They have a little strength, right? It says, and have kept my word. And it's the point, and has not denied my name. So when these days come, you can't deny the Most High's name. Denying his name, right, isn't just saying you're going to be brought up in court, but do you deny Yahweh Shem Yahushua? Yes or no? Do you raise your hand or you raise it down? Denying him is going against all the words that are written. The way they're going to want you to accustom your life to be able to survive in this system, according to the image of the beast, if you adapt to that, you have denied the name of God. Because the name of the Most High is his image and his words and the spirit that he's in. So if you deny and come up against it or neglect it, walk away, turn your back from it, right, through perilous times, right, you are not the Lord's elect. The Lord said through the hand of the Apostle Paul, who shall separate us from the love of God? And that's a question. Like, what's going to separate you? It's going to be perils, right? Is it going to be the enemy? And Paul went on a long list of things saying, what's it going to be? What's going to separate you from the Most High? Because, I mean, it may be one of these things. Pick your poison. What is it going to be? Is it going to be food? Is it going to be relationships of this world? Right? What is it going to be? Right, let me get the latter end of that in the book of Romans, right? Because Paul said, look, man, it may be something. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of Romans, right, chapter 8 and verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Yahushua? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or perils or sword? Note it didn't say the things that brothers are dealing with now, 9 times out of 10, right? Small disagreements, quarrels in a marriage, right? Those are light matters, man. Heavier things are going to happen upon the earth. It says, as it is written, for thy sakes are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep to the slaughter. Nay, in all things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. And the strength that Paul had, he wasn't a hypocrite. Because Paul had to die to death, right? He got persecuted. So, I mean, everything that he's speaking came to pass in his ministry. It says, for I am persuaded that neither death, and you have to be persuaded. If you're not persuaded and you're swayed to the left or to the right, then you have to pray that the Most High gives you more of a stable mind and strength. And like the Lord said, that has a little strength. It says, for I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh, which is in Yahushua our Lord. Right? So you have to have this type of mentality in the last days. Brothers got it.
Con. And if you don't, go ahead, y'all.
Real quick. Proverbs 24:10. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. And that's playing upon tables. The Most High gives us a lot of adversity. It says that in Sirach 11, I believe 21 or 14 rather. Let me get that real quick. Look at Sirach, chapter 11, verse 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. So there's nothing you can do against. That's why Scripture says there's nothing you can do against the Lord. Right? There's nothing you can do at all. No counsel. And I was reading that earlier in Psalms. There's no counsel that can come against the Lord. There's no rebuking. There's nothing you can do at all. You just got to handle it and deal with it. You got to deal with your life. You know, whether it may be life, whether it may be adversity, poverty, or riches, because it's all going to come from the Lord at the end of the day. Similarly, how it says, or it reads in Proverbs chapter 16 and 33, right? The lot is cast into the lap. The whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. So back to Proverbs 24 and where was that? Verse 10, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. And as the days proceed, the days of adversity is going to get harder and harder and harder. If you can't get through today, you may not be able to get through tomorrow. Right? But if you, and you know, of course, you know, using wisdom, we understand we all fall short. But if you just start giving up more frequently and you just start throwing in the towel and you got the little check mark, flesh 10, me 2, you know, you're going to lose. You got to have that winning mentality, right? Or that enduring mentality that you can endure all things and do all things in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Let me get this as well. No, that was it. That's all I really wanted to bring out.
Con. And I wanted to get this very quickly, right? In the book of Second Esdras, right? I want to go to Second Esdras, the second chapter, right? So this thing is real, man, right? This thing is real. And brothers, really, let me get this first in Hebrews, right? This is the time where brothers should be begging for mercy from Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua and praying for faith, right? You should be building up your faith and begging for mercy, right? These are the things, these things are the intangibles, man, right? That are going to push you in the days to come, man. Because if you have the mercy from the Most High, then you can't lose, man. Assure mercies of David. David committed a sin unto death, and the Lord granted him mercy, man. We want that same mercy, right? We need that faith to allow us to see the slaughter that's coming on the earth, the bombs coming on the earth. We haven't seen that before, man. We're talking about it. But if Ezra could say, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days, then how much more us, man? Right? Habakkuk said that he might rest in a day of trouble. Rottenness entered into his bones. When he heard it, his belly trembled, man. That he might rest in the day of trouble, paraphrasing. When the Lord cometh unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. And Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. So a lot of our forefathers, they saw the end of the world, man. Even in Amos, we're doing a lot of paraphrasing for sake of time. The 5th chapter, he said, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you, man? As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him and leaned his hand upon a wall and a serpent bit him, right? Paraphrasing. So it's not going to be too much wiggle room in those days, man. You might run across the lion, then you escape the lion, then a bear come at you, then a serpent, right? All hell is going to break loose on the earth, and you're going to need that faith to keep believing that the Most High is going to be there with you, man. Right? This is Hebrews chapter 12 and 1. Wherefore, it's like you're seeing, we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. So the Apostle Paul is likening this scripture to a man running a race, and you have a stadium full of witnesses that watch you. Everybody that's watching you is everybody that finished the race before you. So you have Abraham, right? You have Isaac, you have Jacob, you have Nehemiah, you got the apostles, right? And they're the witnesses, this great cloud of witnesses watching you, man. These are all of the men and women written in Hebrews 11th chapter. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin that doth easily so beset us, or which doth so easily beset us. You know, a lot of people growing up, if you play sports or people that play sports now professionally, when they have somebody in the stands that they may look up to or that they love or they respect watching them, they tend to perform a little bit harder, right? They tend to go a little bit harder, man. They tend to endure a little bit more. They tend to overachieve and overperform. So you have the Apostle Paul's trying to give you that mentality. Hey, look, you're not in this thing alone, man. You have witnesses that endured the same thing that you endured, man. That's like you walking, you're doing this walk, and Abraham's right there watching you. Isaac and Jacob and all you ain't gonna go off, man. You gotta envision that. You're not about to sit there and just kick your feet up and be slothful if you can envision Nehemiah right there with his arms folded. The Apostle Paul sitting in the chair looking at you like this. Abraham, he looking at you like this. You're going to be doing the work of the Lord, man. You're going to be reading. After you're done reading, you might go into a prayer. You know, you have to envision that like this truth, man. That's why he's saying that's the encouragement for you to lay aside every weight and every sin that easily besets you, man. Right? And let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, meaning the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. Right? Yahushua, he is the race. He's the beginning of the race and the end of the race. He's the beginning of our faith when you come into this thing and you're born again, and he's the end of your faith, ultimately up to the kingdom. So he's the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. So Yahushua endured everything, man. Right? He despised the shame, and his reward is to sit down at the right hand of the throne of God. Right? For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. So a lot of brothers, you're fainting in your minds. You're stressed out. You're telling yourself, I don't know if I can endure this. My life is too hard. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough this. I'm being vexed and Satan is coming at me. You better consider Yahushua, man, who endured more than we endured, man. Before you get weary and faint, you better think about Yahweh Shah. When you're thinking about giving up, when you're thinking about falling off, you have to constantly think, hold on, our Lord went through this. The great cloud of witnesses, they're watching me. The angels are watching me. The Most High is looking down at me, man. Before you start getting weary and trap yourself in your own thoughts. Right? Here's the point of verse 4. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. So none of us had to resist unto blood yet, man. The Lord said this is light affliction in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. We haven't yet to resist unto blood. We haven't got scourged, whipped, beat, like the apostles beaten with rods, smote upon the mouth, hit upon your head with reeds, crown of thorns. You have yet to resist unto blood, man, striving against sin. So you have no reason to be weary and faint yet, because we haven't went through nothing yet, man. Yahweh Shah went through it all, so we can go through it all. And you got the great cloud of witnesses watching you, man. So when you're thinking about going off and freaking off, you have to envision that, man. Envision your forefathers being there with you, man. And they all have a crown on their head, and think about all the things that they endured, man. You think about going off, envision the apostle Peter there, man, who was crucified. One of the apostles, I believe, Bartholomew, he was skinned alive, man. Imagine him watching you and he's skinned alive. Paul beheaded, man. Lest you get weary and faint because you couldn't pay your bills. You're weary and faint because, you damn twisted your ankle. Or you're weary and faint because your woman yelled at you, right? Or you're weary and faint because you don't have enough, man. Right? You got to have a lot of faith and have a strong mentality. That's why you have to pray for more faith, man, that you could be a witness in this thing too, man. All right, but brothers got it.
Yeah, Karen, I don't got nothing else.
Come on. You have something? All right, we can bring out closing precepts.
I was gonna say that add a little bit. That's facts.
No, go ahead, Yardan Salaki. It was a delay.
No, I was just saying that's facts. Israel got to pray for more faith. You got to be righteously confident and prideful in the Lord, right? Not confident in a plain way, but righteously confident, right? That the Most High will protect you in all things, and that things work together for the better. You got to just remember. That's what I would say. You got to remember and meditate upon the precepts all day and night. He said that in Joshua 1:8, the words will not depart from out of our mouth. He said Deuteronomy 6:4, right on down. All praises. Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. That's all day for Jake, just to, so you can visualize it. It's all day, right? That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written. And that's not, maybe, that's not sometimes. It's not just a saying. It's not a proverb. No, that's true. Mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. And then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous. And then thou shalt have good success. If you trust in the Lord, remembering the precepts, remember the accounts of your forefathers, the Lord is telling you, you will have good success. But that flesh is going to say, no, you're not. Nah, I don't think it will. Pick up that gun and deliver yourself. Pick up that money, deliver yourself. Pick up that woman, deliver yourself. That's what that flesh is going to work. But Khan
is right. I'm going to bring out this closing precept. All right, and most are willing, everybody is taking in what's being brought out tonight. It's the book of Revelation, right, chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, who I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. All right, so if you're not watching, the Lord's going to visit you in a day which you know if not, and blow out your candlestick. So make sure that you're keeping these commandments to the best of your ability. And when you fall short, you pray for mercy and repentance, right? That you may be able to stand before the Most High in the end days. Let's go.
Sirach chapter 35, verse 4, instead of verse 3. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord. And that's written because, according to the law, when you have to present yourself before the Lord, it's 3 times a year, you got to have something. You have to. You always have to have something in your hands before the altar, even on a spiritual level. You got to have your prayers. You have to have your faith. You have to have all the fruits of the Spirit. You have to present yourself. You can't appear empty before the Lord. Jake, you wouldn't dare appear empty coming to work. You forgot your ID badge. You forgot your tie. You forgot your lunchbox. You forgot your report that's supposed to be on another man's desk at 9 a.m. or EOD, whatever. You wouldn't dare forget the things of this world. So really, how much more the Heavenly Father, right? How much more should you remember, right, to not appear empty before Him? Jake said, well, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that for the Lord. We forget. Things happen, but you don't want to, make it a habitual habit. You forget every day. Now you forget all day. Now you forget for the rest of the week. Right? It's just going to turn into a point where you just don't give a damn. You just don't care. So you got to remember to appear before the Lord with something in your hand.
God. And I'm going to get Sirach chapter 19 and verse 1. Right? A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. So if you're giving yourself over to the drunkenness of this world, excess, like we read about in Luke, the 21st chapter, and surfeiting, you won't be spiritually rich, right? Just like a man that spends money on bottles of liquor and wine and strong drink, that stuff is going to add up, man, and he's going to be impoverished. Likewise, with a man that spends his substance and spiritual money on the wine of this world, he's going to lose out on the knowledge and understanding. And the point I really want, it says, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. So those things that you think aren't a weighty matter to you, that aren't a big deal, if you keep ignoring them, you're going to fall by little and little. Your time management is going to fall by little and little. Your prayer, your schedule, your organization, right? Your reading, your studying, right? These things are going to eventually become a big deal to you, man. When something builds up by little and little, by default, it also becomes larger and larger. It builds itself up, right? So you don't want to fall by little and little. You forgot a precept here, then you forget a precept here. Then you're trying to remember, you're reading your Bible, you can't remember where the book of Jeremiah is. I know Jeremiah is somewhere. Is it here? Is it here? Right? And then you can't remember that scripture, then nothing makes sense to you anymore, and the spirit leaving you, and you don't want to read no more, and you stop putting your fringes on at certain times, and you just slowly lose the oil, man. You don't want to fall by little and little. So the small things in your life and this truth, they have to be scrutinized. They have to be examined under a microscope. They look at small things under a microscope for a reason. Certain diseases and things, if they don't look at those small things, then all hell will break loose. They got to put it on the dish and look at it and say, damn, that little strand right there, that's what caused the whole damn population to die, man. You have to look at your works and like manner, man. That small little thing in you, that leaven may destroy you, right? So you have to examine yourself accordingly in these last days. Watch the prophecies, right? See what's going on the earth, but also watch over the small things in you and the leaven that's beginning to rise, man. Right? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh. Bashima Mashiach, Kwamalak Bashai. Brother Naquam.
Shalom, brother. Right.
Shalom, brother Yardan.
Kwam Yasha. Shalom.